So, a lot of times, the narcissist, the demonic entity inhabiting the human vessel, will double back. They'll double back and they want to see what's up with you. They want to see if you're going to be able to have what's called some type of amnesia, right? You're going to be able to forget all the things that they put you through as if things never happened. We would call this gaslighting, right? A lot of times, they want to just return to some type of state of normalcy with you. Um, they want to just come back and not apologize, not even have that conversation. They just want to say, hey, what's up? What's cracking? What's going on? Just to steer away from taking accountability, even having the conversation. A lot of times, I'm going to say that, the entity that I've seen controlling, fully possessing, and moving around and operating in my ex, didn't clearly want to. Basically, I feel like the entity wanted to check and see if I knew that it was in there. It's like a double back to check. Okay. So I received text, phone calls, upon the completion of my, leaving my ex. And one thing I noticed is it would just be random verbal assaults that were thrown out through the text just to get some type of reaction, just to see if I would go back into that toxic state of asking, why are you saying this? What's going on? And then all for him to turn around and act like he was oblivious to what he had done. Another form of gaslighting. I'm going to call this is more like a clean state tactic that they want to use. Okay. It's very much manipulative, where the narcissist acts as if, as I mentioned, the conflict, the abuse, the episodes, the all the things that they have done, they just want to bypass it. So one thing they do is, you know, they're going to blow up. Okay, the narcissist, the demonic entity, will begin to engage in that abusive behavior. That's how it was shown to me via text. Crazy accusations like you're doing things like they even may call you a dyke or a lesbian, whatever. They may even call you just crazy names, or say you're messing with somebody you're not. This is a way for them to regulate their own internal shame and anger. They want to dump all of what they feel onto you. They're still trying to use you, that grade A supply you are. So when they do this, they want to basically create an emotional reset. They want to shift. So once they have blurted out or vented whatever, their venom was to you, basically they want to wait for when that storm has passed. They want to be able to try to make themselves, or try to make you see themselves back in that love state. you know they want to be able to grab you up, as I talked about before, and make love to you, or to be able to say, I didn't mean that. It's all a form of energy siphoning, right? So when they contact you, they're going to sound cheerful. They may, as I mentioned, say, what's up, what's cracking, good morning, hey love. They want to test your boundaries. They're checking to see if you're going to allow them to skip that accountability part, to skip that conversation of why they're disrespecting you, right? And then they're going to flip it again and say, you know what, you're always talking about the past. Why can't you just ever be happy? You're never happy, to minimize what they've done. It wasn't that big of a deal. You're so sensitive, right? They're going to gaslight you to thinking, you're always making a fuss about something. Um, And they're going to then turn around and just have amnesia, back to the amnesia. I never said that. You're making this up. You always want to argue. You always want to fight. That's why I left to go be with the other woman, right? If you refuse to accept this, clean slate they're somewhat of offering you, and you try to demand an apology, they're going to go back. They're going to pivot back to the abuse or the silent treatment so that this punishes you for having the boundaries. And then it trains you to teach you from bringing up things that they don't want to talk about, because those things allow them to have more pain. Okay, they want to avoid shame. It's all a point of avoiding shame, avoiding accountability. That mask is cracking. It's cracked pretty much. You see through it. Um, they want to try to maintain control and the trauma bond. So these are just things that I want you to be aware of, especially if you've already healed, you've moved on, and they try to come back and drop these little things where they want you to entertain them, all to put you back in the cycle, see where you are with things, not because they love you, but to get that energy back again.